Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy the Tan Superman back here today in the flesh and looking fresh. Check out the haircut, man. You gotta respect this haircut, man. Because up until around a week ago, I was looking like some sort of homeless crackhead out here. I was like the 2019 Justin Bieber. I was looking terrible, and everyone and their mother, including my own mother, was telling me to go get a haircut. But they didn't understand. They didn't want to listen. I did not want to tell them the reason I was growing my hair out. I know some people on YouTube were just assuming I wanted to be long hair, don't care. Not out here in this Texas heat, man. Not out here in this Texas heat. Let me tell you guys a little story about why my hair was as long as it was. It's story time in this the first time ever, so y'all better mark your calendars down. This is super sick. So for around the first 18 years of my life, I got a haircut from the exact same woman. She would give me some okay cuts. I guess I can't really blame her for the times the cuts weren't exactly okay, because the types of haircut I wanted wasn't really like matching to, you know, my hairstyle or the type of hair I have. So I got my haircut from her, you know, from baby to, you know, through high school. But then when I went to college, I moved to another city. And so obviously I'm out here looking for a barber. And, you know, the other person that was cutting my hair was at a salon. So I was finally like, okay, I need to go to a barbershop. And the first barbershop I walked into, you know, once I went to college, was some barbershop that was literally just for like old white guys. Literally no one else in there wasn't retired besides me. And so I went through a few different barbers, and I ended up settling on this woman named Jin. She was an old Asian woman who had really like just started cutting hair. I think before that she was washing hair or something like that. And literally all the old men would go in there just to flirt with her. I guess they were getting those Vietnam War flashbacks or something. I'm not even sure. And she would give me an okay haircut. The main reason I liked her is because she had an awesome personality. She made me feel like I had some sort of third grandma. So Jin was the homie. I like Jin. She would give me a pretty good cut most of the time. Sometimes she would fuck up a little bit, but I was always like, whatever. I guess all those old dudes who were going in there didn't really give a fuck, because they have around 5 hairs to cut. But the problem with this barbershop is that it was walk-ins only. So like you couldn't call and make an appointment or anything like that. And that's super inconvenient for someone who's like doesn't have all the time in the world. You know, I had college classes at this time. I had work. But then one day Jin started telling me about all these racial jabs that, you know, the owner of the shop was throwing out right as other people would walk out the door, and that she really didn't appreciate that. So when a barber tells me that, like, oh, I'm moving to this other barbershop, you know, that barber's pretty much dead to me. I'm not going to be following you to another barbershop. So then I was on the hunt for another barber. I ended up finding this Saudi Arabian man named Sammy, and this dude was giving me a fresh cut. Here's some examples of his work. I really liked this guy's haircut. The problem with him was that he wasn't very consistent. You know, even though he was the one who owned that barbershop. I think he was coming in kind of stoned most of the times. He was giving me that stoned haircut. But man, that haircut was fire. I still reminisce about that one every now and again. But one day I showed up to his barbershop at 10 a.m. That's when, you know, he was supposed to open. And I was waiting till like maybe 10:45 just sitting in my car. And he never came out to open the barbershop. I walked up, you know, it was completely dark in there. So I was like, okay, well, I really need a haircut today. I think it was like my second time trying to go over there to get the haircut, and I was like, whatever, I'm in San Antonio, I'll just drive around and you know, find another barbershop, because there's literally barbershops on every single corner. So then I stumbled upon this place that had pretty good reviews on Yelp. I mean, some of the people on the Yelp review were like, hey, they played really obscene, loud music that had a bunch of curse words in it. So it sounded like my kind of place, okay? So I walk in there, and this isn't being racist, okay? It's not being racist at all. It's just a mere observation. I just happened to notice that all the barbers were black and all of the clientele were black. And so I walk in and I'm like sticking out like a sore thumb, and I'm like, hello ma'am, do you guys do walk-ins here? And she's like, oh yeah, we do. Hey, G. And then this dude spins around. He does a 180 in his chair and just looks right at me. I hadn't even noticed him. And he's like, oh yeah, I got this. And he was like the only Mexican barber in there. So I guess he was like the go-to for cutting other Mexican people's hair, because, you know, he understands the hair like that, the technicalities. And so I sit down in this dude's chair, and he literally cut my hair for like a good hour. And he gave me like the most perfect, nicely faded haircut I've ever had in my entire life. Just talking to this guy, he told me he had been to prison, so I knew he knew exactly what he was doing. I got his phone number. I thought that we had a great connection. I told him I would hit him up in around a month. So then we fast forward to around a month later, and I'm like, yo, G, I need a haircut, bro. You know, you remember me? I got the fresh fade or whatever. And he's like, oh yeah, bro, I got you. Just come here on this day at this time and I'll hook you up. And so that's what I did. I came in, you know, exactly at that time, exactly on that day. And of course, this guy is nowhere to be found. So I'm just sitting there for like a good 20 minutes, like, I don't know what I'm doing, because everyone else is in line for this old black guy named Doc. This guy was quite literally the surgeon with the scissors. I mean, he was out here killing the haircuts, but I was like, I can't be waiting all day for this guy. You know, he literally had a line of like 10 people. They were going to be waiting there for like 3+ hours. And so then this other younger black guy walks in and he just starts questioning everyone who's sitting down, like, hey, you need a haircut? Nah, I'm waiting for Doc. Hey, you need a haircut? Nah, I'm waiting for Doc. He literally went through like 6 people before I just got up and was like, hey bro, I need a haircut. And so I came on back, I sat down in his barber's chair. He seemed super confident. He started chatting me up immediately. I told him exactly what I wanted, you know, with my haircut. I even showed him a couple of pictures of past haircuts that I got that were decent. And it was one of those barbershops where they turn you around so you can't see what they're doing while they're cutting their hair. They're just talking to you and you're just hoping that everything's going well. Let me just point out that he did not ask me one other question during the haircut, so I was just going on a whim that he was doing a good job. I mean, I always heard that black people were nice with the cuts. So I thought I was in good hands, okay? This guy was from Detroit or something like that. And so he's cutting my hair. He gives me around, you know, the good 30-minute haircut. And I was thinking, man, I feel like he did a pretty good job. Usually you can tell while they're like fading you up and stuff if they did a pretty good job. But I won't lie, he like did my lineup and he was being super aggressive. Like the lineup ended up leaving like some bruises on my head from like how aggressive he was being with his dull ass knife. But that's not even the worst part, okay? So this guy is like, voila. It's all finished. He was finally ready to do the great reveal, like if I was, you know, building up some sort of summer body. And so he turns me around in the chair, and this is pretty much what I saw in that mirror.
Bruh, look at this dude. Wait till you see the. No. Look at the top of his head.
Guys, when I say my heart dropped, that would be like an understatement. This was like the saddest thing that's ever happened to me. Sadder than when my dog died. I think what the guy tried to do was give me like this line right here in my head. But I don't get that line right there in my head, dude. This guy just did not blend the sides at all. He had me super up. This has to be one of the ugliest haircuts I've seen in my entire life. I'm just keeping it real with myself. And so for the next couple months, I would be wearing a hat around and people would be like, yo, why you always wearing hats? Why you always wearing hats? And I would take off the cap and they could not hide. Some people would laugh. Some people would be like, what the did this guy do to your hair? And I'm like, I don't even want to talk about it, bro. I know my head looks like an oddly sliced wheel of cheese or something like that, man. It looked terrible. And so then I pretty much had no choice but to just grow my hair out for a couple of months because, you know, I really needed to grow back. The line he tried to put in my hair just f***ed up the symmetry of my head. I was so pissed off, guys, you don't even know. So that's kind of why I was growing my hair out. That's why I was out here looking like a young crackhead. I figured it would be the perfect segue into making fun of some of these worst haircuts of all time. So let's see what these guys got. Everyone featured in this video, just know that I do feel for you. Okay, so we're kicking it off with a man who looks like he should have this type of hair on his mustache. He looks like he has the Pringles guy on his head. At this point, you might as well just go bald, dude. Okay, now we got the young barcode mixed with the lamb chops combo. Look at that face. It's the face of a man who does not love himself. Next, we got the handlebar special. You go up to this guy and yaga those two things. It's gonna be like milking a cow. Nah, for real, his hair looks absolutely disgusting. It looks like the lint that comes out of the dryer when you ball it all up. You see, this is exactly what the guy was trying to do with my haircut. I'm sure if I would have said yes to him saying, oh, you want to get the line now after he had finished my haircut, this is probably exactly what I would have turned out with. And it's kind of sad because it looks like the rest of the cut isn't half bad. I mean, he really did f*** him on his sideburn right here. I just feel bad for this guy. Jesus Christ, how many times did he have to mess up this line and then he didn't even make it straight in the end? I have nothing else to say besides that this is the face of a killer. If you choose to style your hair like this, I'm not trusting you with anything. Someone needs to get a restraining order from this man in every single playground in America. Jesus Christ, does this guy have some ears on him? He looks like he could be in a punk rock band from the early 2000s and an extra from Lord of the Rings at the very same time. I don't know, man, something about those ears just screams Warlock to me. This guy went up to his barber and he said, hey, you know those rings that Sonic runs through? Just give me that, fam, that's perfect. In general, I think it's weird when all of the hair on someone's face is the same length, but this guy has really taken it to another level. But it's a pretty impressive lineup. I gotta say, it's really straight. But I don't get why his beard is going all the way under his neck. Next, we got the classic paintbrush look. This kid's face already has him looking like an extraterrestrial. I mean, really, is this what Macklemore is doing these days? This guy's the definition of a shithead, and I don't get why his barber left this little extra patch of hair at all. This guy had to have lost a bet. There's no other way you'd want to get your haircut looking like a pile of shit. I mean, seriously, he looks like the emoji. But I guess redheads already don't have souls, and this guy's just screaming for attention. This is actually one of my favorite haircuts because you don't even have to wear a hat anymore. Your hair is literally just turned into the formation of a hat. Super dope, super innovative, and definitely a trendsetter. Don't be surprised if people start running around with this look within the next 10 years. You can come back to this video and say I called it. Listen, if your girl goes out there and gets this look, it's time to spin that little helicopter on top of her head and make that bitch fly away, because it's gonna be a no more dating zone for me. And what does she have back there on her head, a charger? This guy looks like he has some sort of Jesus crowns on his head. He ain't strawberry shortcake, dog. Is this gonna be Ninja's next haircut? Did y'all see Ninja's new haircut, by the way? He looks like one of those lesbian moms. Oh, feminist, may I speak to your manager looking ass. I have nothing else to say about this haircut besides that it's absolutely legendary. X Videos really needs to go and pay this man. Like, Jesus Christ, is that good promotion. I can't even laugh like this because I feel like this is what my hair literally would look like if I kept growing it out. It's a very nice bird's nest you have there, sir. So this guy went with the devil horns look. Look, no offense, but this dude definitely smells bad. Some say that this is the last thing you see before you die if you're gonna go to hell. He walked into the barbershop and said, hey, you know the stairway heading up to my house? Next we got an actually famous person, Mr. Antonio Brown, come on down. With your Lego head looking ass. I have nothing else to say besides this guy literally looked like he got ran over by a lawnmower. Who did this to you, sir? I really want to know. They need to be thrown into jail. This is how you know you really just don't give a f about your life anymore. His little hair that's left that's dangling down literally looks like little pieces of on his face. So if someone went over to the barbershop and sat down and said, hey, I really need you to make me look as stupid as possible, this would be the exact haircut. Yo guys, I just want to say thank you for watching real quick. It would mean a lot to me if you could drop a big like on the video. YouTube hasn't really been recommending me out lately, so it'd be nice to get more recommendations to new viewers. Took a little break last week and I'm feeling pretty good now, feeling kind of re-energized. But overall, I just want to say thank you guys for watching once again. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and I will see you guys in a couple of days. Peace.
I think I leveled up, so I'm feeling unstoppable. Make you stick it up, boy, I'm popping like a popsicle. Hurdle many obstacles, dodge a couple bullets, try and send me to the hospital. Now you know I'm hot dog, young Mickey Mouse. When I drop off, always shaking hands, I never fall off. Now I go into the mall and drop a couple racks.